What's going on, y'all? This is the Dunnest to Done. I don't do videos like I should. I probably should have been doing it for years. I mean, I got this account for years and everything, but I'm only doing this video because I was interested in what happened. I'm a fan of Anton Daniels. I'm a fan of Corey Holcomb. And last night on Corey Holcomb's show, I think at this point everybody know what happened. I logged in this morning on YouTube to watch the show, and everybody saw the blow up. So this is my opinion on what happened now, my reaction. First of all, when I saw Anton Daniels on there, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell these guys have to talk about, because the only thing that these guys actually have in common is Anton and Corey pretty much only have women, where the way bosses move around women and the way that women act. That's almost the only thing that they have in common. That they both kind of have an agreement that women are out of line, and the way that boss men move when it comes to women. That's pretty much the only thing they have in common. They don't get along religiously. They don't have the same spiritually, racially, emotionally. Like all of the Lees, they are complete opposites. They on two different ends of the spectrum, and politically mainly. So when the conversation kicked off, as you guys can see, somehow they said we're not going to talk only about politics, and then it first landed racially. Then it came back and went politically. And every now and then it has sprinkles of religion in there. Those are three things that they don't get along on at all. They are totally opposites. And being that they are totally different emotionally, Corey did what Corey does. He got upset that Anton stood his ground. Because this is what I do know about both of these guys. Both of them are in their own zone of alpha male, I guess you'll call it, in their own. They're bosses of their own. They're not typically around men who they think are higher than them, at a higher level than them. Corey typically have guys around him that's lower level than him. And that's no disrespect when I say this lower level, because hell, by all genres, as a comedian, I'm lower level than Corey. Financially, I'm lower level than Corey. Same thing as a blogger, I'm lower level than Anton. As financially, I'm lower level too. So this is not a shot at anybody that's around them. It's just that the guys that's typically around Anton are typically other comedians or other bloggers, and they're not on his level. They're usually on a lower level than him. So I'm not speaking financially. I don't know the finances of any of those guys that be on these shows. And same thing with Anton. Anton have people on his panel that's typically not financially or higher than him, who's typically not the blogger as he is. So these guys are under these guys. They're the alpha dogs. They're the bosses so you bring them both together, and they both have egos. I've seen people disagree with Corey, and it ever goes right. And I mean, when Corey really sticking his feet down, he's 10 toes down, you're saying something, and you have a disagreement with Corey, it doesn't end well. And people don't typically challenge Anton too much on his shows, because for the most part, when it comes to the panels, those are paid contributors, I guess you can say. On the after hours, those are paid people. So you might have a little disagreement here and there, but at the end, Anton used to get the last word, and he ain't gonna get much pushback when it comes to the final response. And when it does get to that heated moment, like it did the other night, when Q and Slimmy called Anton out about how he caped up for women, it went bad for a minute, to the point where Slimmy left, and Q just didn't leave as quick, but Anton can't see past himself. They call it goggles. He don't see the shit that he does, he likes to always put himself in a position to be a higher power towards any man that's typically he's in contact with. He always know all the answers. He always know everything. And that's because he's got to that point where it's almost like a spoiled child or a spoiled athlete. They're not used to people telling them no. Anton has made it to that point to where he believes that everything that he does is obviously right because he's looking at the rewards that have came from it, financially mainly, and the following that he has garnered. Corey is pretty much the same way, except he's more street and more gutter with it. So Corey still has this emotional thing to where everything he believes. Now, I can break it down if I had one of those little videos where you playing each part for part and everything like that. But for the most part, Anton is very informed on everything he talk about. Corey is more on how he feel on the things that he talk about. So, and that's where the problem kicked in at for Corey. Anton is more informed. He actually can study it. He can show it and everything else. But people like Corey is fuck that. I don't care. I feel like this and I don't believe this and I feel like this. That's Corey. These two dudes were not going to get along. I believe what this show went wrong at is these guys should have had what they call like a pre-meeting or something, where they talked about everything they're going to talk about and what we're not going to talk about. But what they did was try to go out there and they tried to be 100% authentic because that's what they try to pride themselves off of for their shows. They want to show people that they are 100% authentic. And these two guys, anybody who watch or know these two guys know that wasn't going to work. Because if they would start talking about politics, which they did, you see how that went. When they talk about how you see racial inequities, which they did, you see how that went. When you talk about religion, they ain't so much than go as far as the religion factor, but they, trust me, that right there would have went bad too. You know, and if they would have got to finances and stuff like that, Anton would have felt like he was way better anyway in that too. It was a recipe for disaster. I was watching the Corey show when Anton donated $500, and for a while Anton was speaking, Corey was speaking about getting Anton on the show. He's such a good brother and everything like that. You know, sometimes it's not meant for you to meet certain people. Anton studied, this is where Anton went wrong. He said he studied Corey. I don't know why the sun coming up in my, okay. He said he studied Corey. Well, if he studied Corey, and Anton also said he's not going to debate anyone anymore, I don't know what he thought he was going on the show to do. He should have known it wasn't going to go right for him. But maybe he looked at it for more exposure because there's typically around anywhere from 9 to 15,000 people typically watching Corey at a given point. So, you know, it could be a business move for Anton. Because Anton is about business. He's a capitalist. You know, so that could have been a business move for him. To go on there and, you know, grab more people, get more eyes and everything. And Corey obviously didn't do much studying of Anton, but, you know, they said they had a phone conversation before the show, and I guess they didn't get that deep into it, and they said we just talk about it on the show, and it just went totally bad. Even to the point where at the 52-minute mark, Corey even tried to, it's almost like he was trying to dry snitch, throw hints, because Corey was real good about that, about saying things that's in the background to kind of expose you a little bit, like he did with Grady when he said Grady was obviously, you know, touring and, you know, doing shows and hitting women, and he had a woman at the house or a wife or something like that. So what he told Anton, what he was saying to Anton was, you know, it's certain, you know, when guys come around with a woman that they in the streets with and it's not their wife, because Anton came there with a woman that's obviously not Rita, you know. So that's what that was about. That's you know, Corey's the kind of guy, and like I said, I watch both of these guys' shows religiously. Corey's every Tuesday night, you know, every comedy show. I watch Corey shows, every specials and all that. And Anton, I'm subscribed to him. I watch a lot of his shows. I don't watch everything he does because he drops content like crazy. So I miss a lot of it. But for the most part, this is what Corey does. If you get around Corey, you have to be willing to allow everything that you bring around him to be put in forefront. Because he don't mind telling your business and telling what you have going on. You know, Anton moves a little bit differently. He's more like what we talk about on here stays on here, and my personal business. And he tells most people, don't bring your personal business to the internet. Corey will bring your personal business to the internet. So Anton didn't study that much of Corey, but I believe it was like as a business move. But Corey, I don't know why he wanted Anton on the show. Maybe he felt like somehow they'll speak on certain things and it'll keep it G. But Corey started the disrespect. When you tell a man that he's kissing somebody's ass, I don't think you get to tell him he can't say, well, you sucking somebody's dick. You started the disrespect. And I saw people in the comment section talking about, well, Corey, show me what Corey disrespected Anton, the way Anton disrespected Corey. And the thing is, there's no barometer on disrespect. Once you disrespect me, the gloves are off. I get to disrespect you back a certain way. Somehow people have this belief that the disrespect's supposed to be equal. You know what I'm saying? Like if you hit me first, I'm supposed to judge the amount of pressure you hit me with and hit you back the same way. Well, no, you hit some people, they're going to shoot you. Because your hit to me was far more of a reach than me not hitting you at all. So when Corey opened the line of disrespect, then Anton walked through the door. And he showed Corey the disrespect he can have. But Corey don't understand that. And that's what Anton was pretty much trying to tell him. And this the part is true about about Corey. Nobody on his side would tell him that he started the shit first. Nobody. In the comment section, Darlene won't say it. Craig won't come on there and say it. I guess the people at the Coin Academy, unless they send it off camera, they're not going to tell him, well, you kind of told that man to kiss people's ass, so he said you're sucking somebody's dick. They started it. You know, if I had time, I would chop this shit up and show you, but that'd be a 30-minute video and I'm already 12 minutes in. But anybody and everybody who knows these two guys know that this shit wasn't going to go the way that they thought it was going to go or whatnot. And, you know, Anton walked around. He obviously had security with him. You know, some people say that he talked the way he talked because he had security. I give him props. I didn't know Anton was a 5'7", 5'8" dude or whatnot. But, you know, he carries himself around like big fish. But that's the money make people feel like they big fish. And it is to a lot of people, you know. But he stood his ground. You know, for whatever it's worth, Corey tried to big boy him, tried to boss up on him, as Anton said. And Anton didn't back down one bit. And it seemed like he was willing to, you know, be with all the bullshit that Corey wanted to be on if he wanted to be on that level. But if you don't want to be on the level, let's have this conversation. But if you are on this level, let's get it. I respect Anton for that. And I've been very critical about a lot of the things that Anton speak about because I believe that Anton, he likes to preach about, we speak to the masses and we speak to the majority, not the minority. But his message, whenever you put him in the corner, he goes straight back to the minority by inserting himself. And that's the minority. So that's been my issue with Anton with a lot of his content. Whenever he gets pushed in the corner, he reverts right back to himself. And that's not part of the majority. And that's Anton's issue, amongst other things. And Corey's issue is he's emotional. You disagree with Corey? Same thing happened with Ryan Davis. You're going to have issues when you disagree with Corey. But anyway, I think it's a hell of an episode. I might go and chop parts out and do an actual reaction video. But right now, that's my outlook on it. You guys go check it out. It was interesting. If done is done, I'm signing out. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Appreciate it.